Welcome back, everyone, to the second half, episode 15 of Fractured Orders. Glad you all could be here. We're gonna go ahead and get started here, and we're gonna see if they can save Dash from whatever he's gotten himself into. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump back over there.
There's another one we watched for like a travel bag a while back, and it was also just super douchey. I don't know what it is about backpack manufacturers on Kickstarter that feel like they need to be douchey to sell backpacks, but it's definitely a thing.
I'm a fucking dick. in the voice. Oh, hello.
Backpack manufacturer? What are we talking about?
There's this. I do a lot of Kickstarting, and there's a Kickstarter for this backpack that I just linked, and one of the, like within 20 seconds, one of the things are, and we made this backpack black to absorb light and make you more stealthy. And I was just like, all right, you guys are a bunch of douches, and I'm never buying this. Backpacks don't need to be
Black
stealthy.
Ember is a team of designers working at the intersection of
Get a blue dye
backpack design and urban lifestyle. We most especially love
Yeah, the
badass
backpack gives you a blue die for subjects.
We're proud to present the new Citadel collection. This sleek waterproof pack features our latest performance
Hold on, I'm
textile,
watching this video.
the 800 denier micro hex
You,
in deep
20
black.
seconds is the first funny
This
comment, and then you
textile
can
is
skip to like 2
specified
minutes.
to absorb light and keep you stealthy.
I'm gonna watch this on
Our
stream real quick.
proprietary laser cut and bonded construction yields an IPX6 waterproof rating. This means
Wow.
it's built to stay
It's a
dry
6
even when
waterproof
sprayed
rating,
with a
guys.
1000 psi water jet. The Citadel is designed for comfort and
Oh, this is
balance.
my favorite part is
Our
coming up right
contour
now.
construction uses the same EVA foam found in the best running shoes. Our 3D shoulder straps are crafted from 2 layers of foam.
They're
One
three-dimensional,
maintains
guys.
structure, and the other gives you a comfy ride, even when your pack is fully loaded. An aluminum stay
I
panel
joined the stream
maintains the
late.
shape that hugs your
I
back,
missed the
and our
stealthy
airflow
comment.
channel
The
keeps
stealthy
your back
comment is what makes it. I
Featuring our
rate all my
aircraft-grade
backpacks on
anodized
stealth
and
factor.
laser-etched aluminum hardware.
The stealthier my
compression straps
backpack,
are
the
great
more
for
shit
larger
it can
items.
carry, which is really what
Utility
I want my
straps
backpack
are
to do.
great for lashing smaller items like tripods and water
Oh,
bottles.
but yeah, now it's
I
coming
Citadel
up.
M
love
is a
how
fully modular version
they
of
got
the Citadel,
like
featuring our
fucking-
laser cut and bonded
how
hyperlong
many
load panel.
multiplications
The
of their
Citadel M is
initial goal.
complemented by
What
a
the
range
fuck
of
is
modular
this?
accessories. We call them mods.
It's not really stealthy
Our
enough
latest
because I can
generation
still
mods
see that
feature
they're wearing a
instantly secure
backpack.
magnetic hardware.
Yeah, a stealthy
Once the
backpack
magnets
really
lock
should be a
onto your
backpack
pack,
that gets like
simply
put
click the
into your
fail-safe
skin,
clasp to
so
ensure
people can't
total
see that you're
security.
wearing it. And yeah,
With 4
fuck me,
unique
you're right.
modular
They
pouches
got
and straps, you can
they
spec
got
out your
like
Citadel M as
4
you see
times
it.
their goal almost. God,
The Citadel is designed with intelligent
People
gear
need to be
systems.
stealthy.
Our top load
That's
feature gives
true.
you access to your phone,
the
keys,
population of the
wallet,
world is
and
gonna
laptop.
drop
And just have a lot of
by
okay.
When you're ready
by
to access
a
all of your
significant
gear,
amount.
the
It's
Citadel
just 'cause the
folds
people
out
who take
flat,
polls won't be able to
displaying
find
it
them
all in
because they're
front
gonna
of
be
you.
too stealthy.
Like I said, some people need the blue dice.
You can't actually
The
like.
compression divider keeps your gear from
You can't
jumping
actually give
around
out any
inside
of the
your pack.
rewards for the Kickstarter though, because they can't find anybody.
Because they're too stealthy.
Whether you're headed to the city streets or halfway around the world, Black Ember keeps you in performance comfort and your gear fully
It doesn't
protected.
even look good, though. That's my thing.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah,
no,
I
it
know.
doesn't.
Experience.
I've backed 2 backpacks on Kickstarter, and I love them both. Like, I'm not against backpacks on Kickstarter, but I'm very against this specific backpack.
So blocky.
Report this project.
Or be fucking stupid.
Oh no.
All right, we're back. Hi, everyone. Hello.
We're back for real.
We're back for real. Sorry, I had there's a quick diversion to
It was important.
see what the hell that was all about, and now I won't get those 2.5 minutes of my life back. So there you go. Hello, everyone. Thanks for coming back. Let's see here. So we got a lot done so far. I feel like we found out about some crate dragons. We got a weapon mod. We built a droid, and one of us got kidnapped. So all in all, it seems like a great.
I mean, he went willingly.
All in all,
He was
seems like
gonna-
a great time.
He got captured and then he willingly went somewhere and then he got captured.
No, they said either you can leave now or come with us. He decided to go with us.
I did not get captured. I decided to go with someone that is afraid for their life.
Sorry, I totally misunderstood because you said you were staying.
No, he went with them.
All right.
Yeah.
Went for the person's sake, maybe because I'm attracted to her, maybe because I have a warped sense of like
Dash
justice.
still thinks he has a chance of getting some action.
Who knows? Maybe they're the same motherfuckers. Maybe I'll find something more than you guys. Who knows?
Oh.
True. So Dash, I want to go back to you momentarily.
Okay.
So when Monica, during the night, Monica packed up all her things and you departed with her, and you ended up getting in a speeder with these two individuals who came to acquire you. Now it should be noted they haven't taken your weapons or searched you or done any of that. And when you get in the speeder, you're kind of loaded into the back, and the Bick gets in the driver's seat, and his apprentice Starsha gets in the passenger seat, and kind of they don't you're just sitting in the back of a speeder right now. You haven't been restrained. They haven't done anything like that to you. Monica is sitting there very her hands are tightly kind of clasped in her lap. And her head is down, just kind of staring at her legs. And the speeder and then roars to life.
I actually want to ask a question because this is gonna determine something that might help give my friends a lead. How do not hollow communicators, com links work exactly? Is there a way for them to be let's say one-sided in a way or something?
You mean can you have hot mic or send a ping or something?
Hot mic, but not.
He wants us to be able to hear him, but us not to be heard.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the thing you can do.
It's absolutely a thing.
The thing is, I have to make a case where if they see me, I can be at least hey, I'm just gonna let you know I'm fiddling with my thing because I dropped it or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanna say that the question is what do I have to roleplay? Do I have to roll something for to make that claim?
Yeah, I mean you definitely have to roll.
Okay, so as he looks around, he pulls out his comm link and expects it.
Somebody's knocking on your door.
Hello?
That's your hair.
Yeah, they're here. Run.
Hello?
Quick, Dash, run. They found you. While he's gone, Jax, you wanted to get your weapon modded, right?
Yeah, so I'd head back to the ship, and I would see Kin and Mouse working on the droid, and because I probably wasn't gone very long.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe when they're done, but while Mouse still has all her tools out, I would ask her.
Can I also give Kin eyebrows for real this time?
Yeah.
Do you want to give him mechanical eyebrows?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that
That's
seems
the
fine.
best.
That seems fine.
Yeah. Do I need to do
It's a good way to spend more time.
No, I don't think
offered
so.
a piece of a penis cake.
Okay.
God, I'm glad I'm not in college anymore.
Yeah.
I'm in university, not college.
You accepted the
Anyway.
penis cake though, right? Right?
No, I'm not actually hungry for cake right now. But what I
Or
was
penis.
gonna say.
I mean, the
Well,
great
I
thing
was
about
gonna
cake
say-
is you don't have to eat it now.
Yeah, I mean that's the great thing about penis too. So.
Oh my god. There you go. As he looks at it and he's kind of he kind of remembers oh, it's my friends still don't know where I am, and he's kind of
Yeah.
he looks at Monica for a second, and I'm guessing she doesn't really pay attention. I think does she look at me when I look at her?
Nope. She is lost in her own world right now.
Okay, so he speaks up. Hey, I just want to warn you so we're in good terms. I actually dropped my comm link like the other day, and I think it broke. So if you see me fiddling with it, don't think I'm trying to like.
I don't think I'm doing anything suspicious or anything.
But like,
Oh,
turn
Jesus.
it on.
Pay no
it's like
attention to the man behind the curtain.
It's like, yeah, it's like what I'm trying to say is like if they see me fiddling with it, it's just like it's a lie. But I'll
Why
try
don't-
to.
Why don't you go ahead and roll deception? I'm gonna make it hard because that story is hard to believe. And I'm using a dark side point.
I feel like the
I'm
stealth
gonna-
check would have been the better option here.
Okay, you're using one as well. Let me put that in there. All right, whenever you're ready.
Believe that, though. Believe anything.
Mm-mm.
No, that's bad.
So you were already against the power curve here, for reasons you don't know yet. So I think that the apprentice, Starsha, she turns around, she says, "That's not what you're doing."
Well, I mean,
If you would sign, just look at the window and be like,
if you want to be completely technical. Sorry, go
just
ahead.
fall silent after that.
Yeah, and I think she just kind of like holds a hand out.
He just rolls his eyes and gives her the comm link.
Yeah, and she kind of like takes it and she just like tosses it up in front of the like probably like at her feet in the front of the speeder, and she's like, "You can get it back when we say you can."
Wow, okay, teacher. Jeez.
His eyes shift to his blaster for a quick second before he decides not to start shooting in a closed space. Or I could and just hope for the best.
Yeah, it's probably a like a closed-in speeder for sure. It's not an open-top speeder like you would assume.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I could start shooting at people, but I don't know who will get hit. So I guess I'm along for the ride.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool.
Good job.
Shut up.
So, eventually
You
you
don't
are
know if Seth would have helped in this case, okay?
you arrive at a place you recognize to be a starport. And when the speeder pulls up and kind of like gently sets down, Bick and Starsha, they get out, and they open the doors so that you can also exit. And Bick he like extends a hand and he says, "Right this way, if you please." And yeah, he guides you into the like entering into the starport, and you see sitting in front of you as you enter into the hangar. Sitting in front of you is a what type of ship is? I had it here. Let me find my notes because I did write this down. Oh, yeah. I gotta find it again. Can't find my notes. But you see a starship, and perhaps you should roll to see if you recognize it. That would be the best way to buy myself some time here.
What roll?
It would be a actually no, it'd probably be a knowledge warfare. Would probably be the check that you would roll here. Just an average check.
Oh.
Okay. So you're not sure what type of starship it is, but I will at least describe to you what it looks like. There we go. So it appears to be Um, so it's a ship that has like a long singular wing that comes off the right hand side of it, and it has like a ventral mounted wing as well to kind of for obviously for stability. And it looks to be a shuttle of some sort, like a freighter or shuttle of some sort. Best you can tell, it looks pretty fast. It boasts a couple of different weapon options on it. But it doesn't appear to be. It doesn't have any markings or any labels that you recognize specifically on it. And as you approach, the boarding ramp is kind of descending from it, and Bick, motions for the two of you to get on it. So
I go. I don't know what
Okay.
are my chances. I can. If
I'm
I'll
just
probably die via lightsaber.
I'm just giving you as much available opportunity to do whatever you want.
So what are my chances right now?
It depends on how you do it.
You're a Corellian lad. You don't care about the odds.
That's a good point. So you enter onto the ship, and the ship appears to be in fairly good condition on the inside. It looks like it probably has a passenger capacity of about 6 or 8. Because you're kind of guided to a small little like barracks room. It's got like 2 double beds in it, or 2 like bunk beds style bunk bed style beds, and you're escorted in there, and Monica's actually put in there as well with you. Her bags and stuff are kind of placed behind her, and the door closes, but before it does, Bick says to you, he's like, "We just need to make our report. We'll be with you in one moment. Please feel free to make yourselves comfortable."
Dash would stay silent.
Yeah, and the door closes, and you're pretty sure you hear it being secured from the outside.
Uh-huh.
So you're kind of left alone in this room with Monica.
So he would look around the room and go up to the top bunk of the bunk bed and just lie there looking at the ceiling for a few moments.
Okay.
Kind of like contemplating like what the hell he got himself in.
Yeah, I think we all are at this point. So what happens is eventually the door, you hear it unlocking, and then it opens up, and Starsha is there, and she has like a couple of food trays, and she kind of looks at the two of you and she says, "It's not much, but well, you need to eat to survive, don't you?"
Well, he would just like nod from the top, just kind of like not saying anything right now.
Yeah, and I think as she places the trays down, she kind of motions to the desk, and she's like, "There's a terminal there if you wish to use it, but don't try anything stupid. I'll know if you do. At least keep yourselves entertained. We don't want morale to be low aboard."
He would like truthfully say never was good with computers anyway.
Yeah, I think she just kind of like nods, and she's like, "Very well. Yourself." And as she's walking out, she says, "We'll be departing within perhaps about 12 hours or so."
He would say, "Okay, thanks for telling us."
Yeah, and she walks out, and the door closes behind her, and you hear the click of the door locking. What do you do?
And as there's silence for a second, there's silence as he lays there, so he break. And for a few minutes before he speaks up, and someone and you would assume that since the only person in the cell is Monica, she would probably assume she is addressing her, saying, "So, once this punishment, Monica."
Yeah, and she kind of like looks at you and she says, "Well, I have not always done the best of things. Sometimes, well, sometimes life catches up with us. I am just glad that they did not decide to, well, take it a step further than it needed to go."
For a second, he regards the answer, and he has. "So, is it true? Everything we supposedly found out about you?"
Well, I guess there's not really any harm in saying anything about it now, but I guess you could say it's true. I've always had a way with people. It's always a bit easier for me to convince them that what I wanted was what was best for them. It got me far in my career, but also got me involved with perhaps people that are a bit more nefarious. I can say with certainty that I've never been forced to do anything, or never have done anything that would directly harm anyone, but, you know, sometimes there's a lot that the people don't see when it comes to what I do, my job. And rightfully so, some people may take offense to that. That's their prerogative. As I said, I'm just happy to have my life.
And he would grumble to his, like, "That's why I didn't ever understand politics." Oh no, not that's why I didn't ever understand politics. That's why I didn't ever like politics.
Yeah, I think she kind of chuckles, but it's kind of like a sad chuckle. She says, "Well, that's exactly why I like politics. It's a beautiful art form if you're able to play the role you're assigned well, and I'm very good at that." But
And he would, as she starts, he will turn his head, so she would at least know that she's looking at her, because for the whole time he wasn't looking at anyone. And says, "But that doesn't make you any more truthful or trustworthy. Now is it? And now does it? I mean."
yeah, I think that she says, "Oh, but I am the most trustworthy person." And as she says it, you can feel that like influence starting to take root again, but not nearly as strong as it once was. It's just like a taste, perhaps.
Could I potentially try a discipline check still?
Yeah, I'll let you roll a discipline check versus her. Let me see what hers is real quick. Yeah, go ahead and roll a discipline check.
She's got me in her grasp. Fuck.
Yeah, so just like she didn't even really use the force there. She just like, you believe that she is trustworthy. Like everything she's ever said to you has been true.
She's just so damn pretty.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's that really. I think it is mostly like she speaks with such conviction that it stirs you, right? That because she believes everything that she believes so strongly, it inspires those around her. And while you're not out of your control yet, I think that you realize that, what she's saying about like politics and how it was always easier for her to influence others, is 100% like true to form here. is
And
that
at that, he would just sigh and she would say, I guess so. As he falls silent and just like doesn't feel like eating for now.
yeah, and I think that she continues the conversation a little bit, and she says, "So, are you trying to contact your friends earlier? This Jax and that crazy engineer you said you had?"
Yeah, guess I'm not good with words.
Hey, I'm not a
But it was
crazy
fun.
engineer.
I mean,
You're
that's how
not,
she
but
sees you.
Crazy good, yo.
And she says, "Well, I'm not sure if they could help, but I don't. Why are you even here?"
Like here on the ship or here which after you?
I mean, I think both are one and the same now.
Well, if you are being hunted by someone that still would harm you, even for something that I guess you're capable of doing, it's not right in a way. At least you would have a witness to an atrocity that I would possibly, if that what they said could come back and be like, oh, I'm a good guy that will stop you bad guys. It says in a mocking kind of like heroic type tone, but I don't know.
Yeah, I
That
think
or
she.
maybe
I think she
that
just
or maybe
laughs.
you just charged me into caring enough about you to, I guess, stay with you and not want you to get hurt. I don't know anymore.
Yeah, I think she just kind of laughs and she says, well, we're both in this mess now, so I think the best thing to do is just to wait, perhaps, for something to happen. I don't know what that might be, but I guess we'll see in a few hours. Should get some sleep.
Yeah, he just kind of like whispers to himself, but loud enough to say, "I just hope I don't have to deal with conversions."
Yeah, and I think that as the night passes and the next day, early in the morning, there's the door, opens up, and Bick is standing there. And Dash, you're either already awake or this wakes you up.
Wait, a night and a day.
Nope.
I thought you said when as the next day passes, and I was like, wait a minute, we're
No,
not gonna leave him that long.
the night passes, and it's the next day. And Bick shows up at your room, Dash. And he says to you, he kind of like greets you, "Good morning." "Good morning.
Good morning.
Would you like to walk with me?"
He would try and say, like, if this is about, I guess, telling me about the advantages of joining either side, I'm sorry, but like I said, I'm no hero, so trying to would probably just have me being hunted down, so I don't even have those, like, weapons those heroes or ones of old, so I just know blasters and shit, so I'm only here because of Monica, not because of you or not because of some destiny. At least leave me to have that.
Yeah, and I think he kind of shakes his head with a smile, and he says, "You are naive, but I can understand that. You've lived a hard life."
You are
Being
naive,
in the-
but you are also stupid.
And you're also fucking.
Living in the military, I'm sure it wasn't easy. Corellia, yes? I can tell by the accent. I visited there many times. Come, let us walk. We can talk more. And I'm sure you'd like to stretch your legs.
He would reluctantly agree and try to at least put up a fight if he actually wanted to convert him or some, like, dumb shit that she, I guess, I mean, has, I mean, the thing is not converted in a way, it's just like the way, like Cyan said, he would say, like, he wanted to, teach him, but then again, this person is also speaking in a way that Cyan spoke, like, be part of this side. It's just like, I don't want to be part of this side, so it's not like he's not being himself here.
Mm-hmm.
So, but he would reluctantly go, so at least not to anger him or something if it reflected on the one person he decided to like uh like I don't know what was the term about the net, like stretch out his neck or something.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
put your neck out for someone. That's a saying.
Putting your neck out for
Yeah, and so he beckons you to follow him, and today he's dressed in a bit of a different garb. He does not appear to be incognito. In fact, you would almost distinctly recognize it as like Jedi robes, right? Like I don't even need to describe anything else besides that, so you have a picture in your head. And as he walks with his hands like tucked into his sleeves, with you kind of in tow, and he says to you, I apologize for our intrusion into your night last night, but we have a mission to complete, and if we don't, then, well, it would be dishonorable for us. I'm sure you understand. I was surprised to see you there. Surprised that you were in the accompaniment of Miss Okula. But I guess it shouldn't be too much of a stretch. She has a particular influence over others. I'm sure you've noticed such.
Well, if you said, if by having me and her apartment is what she referred to, yes, because then again, he didn't sense anything, so he wouldn't know if he was referring to that specific thing.
Yeah. And I think he also says, he's like, and last night on your way home when you identified something was wrong, you have good instincts. It was good. They have probably served you well all these years. You are a pilot, yes?
I am.
Indeed. You mentioned as much last night. Tell me, you ever heard of the Jedi or the Jedi Order?
When I was younger, I have heard, and I met this one day on Corellia because well, let's just say it was a chance meeting, and he was talking about that stuff, and I guess me being the hopeful kid I was, I guess hearing those old stories my mom used to tell me is like, I guess it brought back the memories. So yes, I have heard of them. The stories of heroism and balance, and how they fought against those that wanted to harm and use everything just for their own gain, or whatever the stories say.
Indeed, that is what the mythos say of the Jedi Order. Now, tell me, do you believe these stories?
Well, they say that myths and legends might have some truth.
Some truth, perhaps, yes. I don't think anyone would argue that. They wouldn't have come to be if there wasn't an ounce of truth in them. But the Jedi Order was far more pragmatic than all that. It wasn't always about heroism and valor. Mostly it was about order, justice.
Well, if you ask me, those are favorable, some would say.
Indeed, I would agree that order and justice are favorable qualities to have, especially in society. This is what myself and my apprentice strive to achieve. A sense of order and justice and peace throughout the lands. But I'm sure you, seeing as how I understand that growing up, I'm sure you've had to disconnect yourself from things in your life. Order and justice do not always come quietly.
You could say that.
Indeed. I could and I do.
Well, I'm not really stopping you, and I couldn't if I wasn't.
Now, it's true, and I'm sure that you are at least rudimentarily aware of this, but you know that you possess an aptitude, right?
If you were speaking about the Force, I learned recently from the, you could say, the healer. He was saying stuff that I guess, I mean, he sensed or whatever the sensitive do, and I guess in a way it makes sense, but I just thought it was luck. So finding out just by chance that I was gifted wasn't really shocking, to say the least, but let's just say whatever the healer told me, I did not want to hear because, as I said, I do not wish to learn anyway because I believe that maybe I am not destined to do anything other than follow my path, or maybe just be the forger of my path, whether it's being insignificant or something else.
The strange thing about destiny is, well, it's different from every perspective. While you may not see yourself as having any destiny, your enemies and allies will see that very differently. But you speak of this healer. Who is this one? Tell me about him.
Well, from what I can tell, he was a Force user. Because I guess unless you didn't have that sense in you, you couldn't come up to me and tell me you have the gift that some have. So I don't know. It was an interesting encounter to say the least. But I guess you could. At first I brushed it off, but then again, I will admit I did sense something from your student.
Yes, indeed, my apprentice. She is very gifted, although her temperament leaves something to be desired. She has a rare gift in Force users, and you saying that there is another somewhere close by is interesting. There's not very many, although I have noticed in the recent history of my travels that it seems the populace has been, well, growing more and more lately. But my apprentice, she has the ability to foresee certain things. She can, I would not call it fortune telling, but she can see and sense things that are to come, have not yet come to pass.
Sean. Sorry, go ahead.
You were saying?
But this, I am curious. I know that you, as a pilot of yourself, probably have a crew, and I would not wish to keep you from them. I understand that you have reason to believe we are here to harm Miss Okula in some way. Is that correct?
Oh, that could be a possibility.
Well, I can tell you and give you my word that while she remains in my custody, no harm will come to her. And
But you... continue, sorry.
I do not wish any harm to come to you as well. That's why I am giving you this opportunity.
The only thing I want to know is what kind of punishment you will receive.
That is not for me to decide. I am not a judge nor an executioner. I am simply a messenger. A delivery service, if you will.
Would there be a possibility of death in the judgment?
Not as long as Miss Akula is compromising.
would I be foolish to try if it was placed on the table to oppose as much as unequipped I am?
Are you saying that if you were to strike at me, you'll notice that we have not relieved you of your weapon?
This, I mean the people that want to judge her. While it may be true that I guess now I learned that she is not clean, I guess some may say that we do things as we think right. So I don't know. I guess in a twisted sense of duty, I stayed with her and not left. That's why I'm not with my friends and some stranger that could possibly just be leading me on just for me to realize that I was nothing more than.
It is also why I wish to separate you from her, at least for this conversation. You see, Miss Akula, she has the ability to influence, but she does not have the aptitude to control it. Much like I do, or Prentice, or you, if you were to train. There are others like this, scattered about. Ones that can utilize the Force, but have no sense of it. In fact, I would dare to say that before you awakened in your current state, you also were one of these, unaware of why certain things would happen. And luckily for you, you have this healer who is there to guide you. I certainly would not wish to impose upon another master's apprentice.
Well, if I wouldn't say that the healer is not a bad teacher, but I had told him that my path is one of the stars, not one of destiny. I hope you would understand like he did. If I don't even know if you followed the path of the Jedi or their opponents, to say the least.
You speak of the dark side. It is bold of you. It is a topic that is not often brought up in pleasant company, but the Jedi and the Order were once great explorers, charting and mapping parts of the galaxy that have never been seen before, using the Force to guide us and do these things. It is very much a way of the Force as anything else. Force is in all living things, and discovery is part of living. So I would say that not only is that the path for you, but it seems as though you may have found your destiny. That which you deny, but can be so clearly seen through the perspective of others.
Oh, as he regards it, he just shakes his head and he says, maybe I am. To keep whatever I had, just to not think that when something comes that I have to do something that some expect of me, and I would say I failed them because I don't know what would happen then.
Well, I believe your sense of justice would overtake you, such as it has in this situation. I understand that while you may have been influenced, some of your duty to Miss Akula may still reside there. So, I will give you another opportunity. We will be departing for our destination in perhaps about 4 hours' time. If you wish to still attend with us, you can leave with us. If not, I suggest you depart.
He would think for a second and say, if she is left, then I would never know her fate, would I?
I give you this. When we arrive, I will ensure that she messages you. And perhaps, depending on the outcome, you may even be able to see her again. Is that something you would wish?
Well, that is preferable if I have gotten this far, and I was at least given a chance to have a peaceful solution rather than going somewhere that my friends would worry for me. I hope you would understand if you were in my position.
Absolutely. It is why I give you this opportunity. What I wish to avoid is your friends seeking us in some form of retribution, because I fear that it would not end well for any of the parties involved.
Well, knowing them, they of course would. I mean, we could, sometimes we argue, but I guess in a way we still care for each other.
We're a family.
In a way, yeah. But I realize that.
Mouse
I guess
thinks we're a family.
well, he still respects everyone, even if though Mouse and Dash are fighting, it was just something petty. Maybe he realized and be like, "Hey, I'm sorry, we just fought out or something petty, and we should forget about it and just continue before something worse happens."
Yeah.
But that's beside the point. So after thinking it over, he says that he will not get in the way, not in the way, but that if something needs to be done, and if him being kind of like a rogue element would cause chaos, he would say that if she is with them and they haven't really given him reason to be like, yeah, the second I get off this ship, you're gonna be sketchy, he agrees to leave them and hopefully believe that they truly seek order and justice.
Yeah, and I think that as you make that decision, you can see that there is visible tension that is relieved from Bick. Probably the second time ever you've seen him express emotion. And there's tension that is relieved from him, and he guides you to the exit where Starsha is also there. And as you descend and you begin they begin final preparations, he places a hand on your shoulder, and as you turn to look at him, he smiles at you and he says, "And I should also extend an invitation, perhaps on more amicable terms. If you ever wish to learn more than perhaps this healer can show you, or you wish to find out more about how the Order once traveled the stars, as is your destiny, seek me out. The Force will guide you."
He will nod and turn to what's her name? Her name
Bick.
Her name is Starsha.
Starsha, and he'll look at her and say, "I'm guessing this is good enough time to get my comm back." He will smile awkwardly.
Yeah, and I think she pulls it out and she just kind of hands it over with almost a what kind of look? Yeah, with like a mildly annoyed look on her face, and she kind of just like drops it in your hand and she says, "Very well."
Kind of howdy.
He would say, "Sorry for being sketchy. I didn't know if I should trust you or shoot you."
Yeah, I think that she kind of looks and she's
malice, or but with truthfulness in a way, it's like maybe she would understand in the situation if she didn't know who she was dealing with at that time.
Yeah, I think she says trust is earned. I understand that, but also understand that it is a two-way street, and well, I don't trust you either.
Well, he he nods at that. Well, if it's any consideration, I trust you and your master now, rather than before.
Really?
I think she kind of like looks. She kind of like looks at Bick, like almost with an incredulous look on her face, and Bick just like nods and smiles, and he's like, "Yes, we've come to an arrangement." And she just kind of like shakes her head, and she's like, "Well, whatever he says, Master, we should really be going. They won't keep the window open for long." And Bick just nods and sends you off and walks back up the gangplank, and the ramp goes up, and the engines begin to fire up, and you're kind of left as the ship careens away. And I think that it's probably super appropriate to jump back to the rest of the party right now.
I was about to say.